Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Miami. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Challenge North America, City Bikes Veneto, Challenge Athletes Foundation, Florida Dairy Farmers, and Wahoo. Our next guest in 2018, he became the second athlete to go under 8 hours at the Ironman World Championship. Took second place that year, Mr. Bart Aernouts. Bart, how you doing, brother? Long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. No, I'm doing well. I mean, I'm especially very happy
Yes.
to be at the race.
To be at any race.
Yeah, to be at the race again. So yeah, really nice. Yeah.
So you had a chance to ride the course a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
This is the wind is going to be a factor. This is probably a little more technical than people thought.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised because I watched Daytona. I didn't race it. I was actually very, disappointed not to be there in the end because it was one of the few races big races that happened last year.
Right.
But no, I think it's completely different. I mean, I haven't been in Daytona, but I saw it on TV, and I think this one is more like a criterium. Like we have a lot of them in Europe, criteriums in cycling, and I think this reminds me of that. A lot of turns, short laps. And quite challenging with the wind.
So in 2018, when you get second in Kona, first of all, you had the fastest time in history, right? You would have won every other Ironman in history. So the good news is you go sub 8 hours, the fastest time in history, except for that one guy in front of you that day. Was it hard to go, hey, I went under 8 hours. Nobody had ever done that before, but I got second place.
No, I think, first of all, it's life, and in the end, it's about positions, not too much about the time. I think we were very lucky with the conditions that day, and in general, I had a very, very solid race. It was my first time that I had everything worked out in Kona, and I think I was, first of all, very happy to be on the podium.
Right.
Finally. And afterwards you think, okay, what if I would have done this and this? I think you always have this after race, no? That I thought that maybe I should have pushed harder on the run in the beginning. You never know. It's a different race. It's a mental game then, more than a physical. But no, I think in the end I have to be very happy with that result. And
absolutely.
At least I'm really motivated to keep going back to Kona to try to do a little bit better. But no, we see.
So 8 times to Kona, 5 times on the podium, 1 time in
five
second.
time
Five times top 10, sorry. 5 times top 10, which is amazing. Only dropped out once. I mean, people do that race 8 times, or a lot of times people don't come back anyways. It's so brutal. What is it about that course that suits you? Because obviously you've had so much success there.
I think, I was always solid in Kona.
Yes.
I think my worst result was a 12th place, 12, 11, and then 5 times top 10. So I think, maybe I'm a solid athlete overall, and it's a tough race. It's a race where you have to keep fighting till the end, and I think that's one of my strengths usually, that I don't give up if it gets tough.
So
keep fighting.
Your coach, Luc van Leerde, this is actually the 25th anniversary of his win in 1996, fellow Belgian. And how did that change not just your life, but just the people knowing about the sport of triathlon in Belgium when he won in 96?
Yeah, I think Luc made triathlon a very known sport. First of all, he was Sportsman of the Year, which means that in the end, not just the people from triathlon will know about you, but in general, everybody.
Soccer.
Everybody.
Huge sports.
Yeah, soccer. Cycling, everything. So I think, and he was an Olympic year as well. No, I think in the end, everybody got to know triathlon. And I think a lot of people got inspired by what he did in Kona. And I think since then it has always been everybody talks about Kona in October. It's like even normal people, they at least they heard about Ironman Hawaii, and they will talk about it. So no, I think it made the sport a bit more mainstream. Yeah.
When you had success in Kona, but then you moved to Luc as your coach in 2018.
Yeah.
And then in 2000, that same year, you had your second place. What did he change a lot of what you were doing?
In general, we didn't change a lot. I mean, I'm training similar to what I did before, but I think it's maybe more the experience what you have to do the last weeks. I think a lot of athletes maybe overdo it the last weeks, so they're pushing it maybe too hard or taking too many risks in the preparation. And I think maybe that's the difference with Luke. He knows what to do to be like, don't do crazy things the last weeks. I think usually it only makes it worse. So. No, I think the experience and just some years, everything works out. You know, I had a really good year that year, 17 as well, but not in Kona, and then in the end, 18. It
and
happened.
Then 19. I mean, I look at 19, and you step up for big races. So you're 6th at Nice Worlds, and then 9th in Kona.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you don't look at that as, but I look at those courses couldn't be any more different, right? You've got a bike course with a huge uphill and downhill in it. For Nice, and then you've got Kona with the wind and the heat, and you were consistent in both, which to me it means you were prepared for both of them. That's hard to do.
Yeah, and I remember in the first years I always tried to combine the half of the worlds and Kona. I think it's always hard. It's 5 weeks in between. It's really hard to get it right in both races. But no, Nice was a really nice race. I wanted to be part of it. In Kona, I mean, I was not after second place. Maybe you expect something, maybe more, right? But in the end, it's Kona. You know, it's always a hard race, and it's always a bit of you never know what's gonna happen. And I think I'm always solid in Kona, but one day you have to get everything right to be close to that podium.
Well, and also if it's 25th anniversary of Luke's win.
Yeah. First of all, let's hope it's gonna happen. That's the
exactly.
first
Exactly.
I mean, in these times, I think we're all happy that we can race again, and. Don't have too many expectations or plans for you have to live day by day, I guess.
After dealing with this, are you more appreciative of the ability to go and race? Because, you know, we learn from this that it isn't a given that we're going to have races every year.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I struggled quite hard the last year. I was in a really good shape. I think I won half Ironman Dubai just before it happened. So I was in a really good shape, and then all of a sudden... nothing, and also you can't plan. You have no goals in life. I really struggled with that. Maybe also because I'm more older athlete already. The young athletes,
clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking. First of all, so you don't want to lose a year, especially when you're in a good shape and everything goes well. And I think young athletes, they are really motivated anyway, no matter what happens. And maybe older athletes, they already start thinking too much about everything. So maybe we are overthinking, and it's not a good thing.
So one of your biggest wins, in my opinion, was Challenge Roth, right? 2017.
Yeah, for sure.
What was special about that one? Because you look at, again, I see you as a guy when the spotlight is biggest, you perform well. What was it about that race and that day?
I think that I didn't expect it at all, because it was 7 weeks after I raced Ironman Lanzarote. I won Lanzarote as well, so it was a bit a last-minute call. You know, first of all, I always want to qualify for Kona.
Right.
That happened in Lanzarote, and then I said, okay, I'm going to try to race road. I want to do it one day. And all of a sudden, I mean, nobody was talking about me before the race.
Which is good.
Which is good, you know, you just do your thing. I remember I was there, nobody was talking about me, not too many interviews, nothing to do the days before the race, really relaxed. And and then all of a sudden you win the race. And then I remember in 2019 I went back to road, and it's different, you know, because you have to do many things the day before the race, and then often it doesn't happen anymore. So I think that's always the hardest thing for an athlete. If there is a lot of pressure and all the spotlights are on you, then it's another thing that makes it harder to perform on race day.
I remember interviewing Craig Alexander, and we were talking about that. It's like all of a sudden, you know, you have the media because you're a contender. People want to talk to you. And he goes, yeah, but I embrace that. That's why I do the sport, because if they're talking to me, it's taking care of my sponsors and all the people who've supported me. So you just have to, you add that in to your preparation. Is that what you've done?
Yeah, for sure. But somehow maybe it's harder to stay very relaxed before the race. I think it's always important to be relaxed, no pressure. Don't put yourself too much under pressure. Especially don't put yourself under pressure. But if you have to talk about the race like over and over again for a week or days, it's always hard to not, get stressed, I think.
Right.
But no, it's something you have to get used to. And I think most of the athletes are used to.
Yes.
But in the end, sometimes if you don't expect things, that's usually when it happens. So I think that's what happened to me in Roth in 2017. Also, I think last year in Dubai, the half, I didn't feel in amazing shape, and in the end, it was one of my best races for my career, I think. So
surprise yourself.
Surprise yourself, yeah. I think if you really think you're in a good shape and you feel like ready, sometimes you disappoint yourself maybe.
Yes.
And if you don't expect it, sometimes you surprise yourself.
So are you already qualified for Kona for?
No.
Oh, so then you have to figure out how to get there if there's no races.
I think that's the biggest challenge. I mean, there are not many people qualified already.
Right.
So first of all, we have to wait for races and see what's going to happen. But after this race, I'm going to stay in the US, and because I hope they're going to
open up some races.
Yeah, that's what I hope. In Europe, it doesn't look too good. I mean,
Right.
most of the races are already postponed or even cancelled. So let's see what's happening. Yeah.
I love it. And so you're, like you mentioned, you're an athlete who's, mid to late 30s now. Do you still love it? Is it something that you want to do till you're 40 or over?
Yeah, I think first of all, I want to have some races happening again because, I love to train, but in the end, you also want goals.
You want goals,
and
absolutely.
I think, that's what I realized this year. If you don't have goals, it gets a lot harder to do it every day, because
Right.
in the end, everybody wants goals in life to work for. And I think I'm the same as all the other people. I want goals in my life. And if you don't have any goals, then I think it's harder in general. So, of course, I love the sport, I love the training, but in the end, you also do it to compete. And
Right.
that's where we train for and where we live for, actually. So it's our goal in life. So, I'm very happy that Challenge Miami is here today to give us a chance to race again.
Yes.
And especially to get in a more positive flow again, I think, because if you get like bad news about races getting cancelled, and
It's not fun.
at some point it has to stop now, and I think it's nice that this race is here, and it gives us like a bit more perspective again to they're gonna happen. I mean, some races are gonna happen, and we can at least look forward to race again, to feel like a real competitive athlete.
Exactly. Bart, as always, thanks so much for taking time. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
More than welcome. Thanks a lot.
And give my best to Luke. Tell him happy anniversary.
I will.
Bart Aernouts has been our guest. Again, Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Miami. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We will be right back.